What up, motherfuckers? Just wanted to hop on here and talk about the Vic Fangio hiring by the Miami Dolphins that became official for the second time earlier today. Evidently, he'll be signing off to the Dolphins after the Super Bowl because he currently works for the Eagles. But if you're new here and you're coming from the YouTube shorts, welcome. I am the Zamboni, and I'm a fucking sellout, alright? I knew those YouTube shorts would start hitting that fucking algorithm, man. I knew it. But yeah, I seen them views coming in, and my dick started getting stiff like a stick shift. And but if you are coming from there, just know that my longer videos are a lot different. With the shorts, I like to, especially with the highlights, I'm kind of emulating like something you'd see on NFL Network back in like 2010 type era. Highlights. I know nobody really has cable anymore, but I just like to commentate over the highlights. That's more of just a fun thing to do. These videos are a lot different. I joke around a lot, and I say a lot of really profane things. So if that isn't your taste, I understand. Different strokes for different folks. I do all kinds of different shit. I'm a scumbag, though. Just know that I am a scumbag, and that ain't gonna change. So first thing we should note is that Vic Fangio, for the second time, this time hopefully officially, signed to the Miami Dolphins. As about a week or so ago, Tom Pelissero said, Fangio's coming to the Dolphins. Then a guy named Michael Silver, who knows Fangio, said, Fangio told me he ain't fucking going. So now that leaves us in the middle, like, what the fuck is going on here? No signing was made official, and it was just this huge mess. Fans are pissed off. He was flirting with other teams. Well, now for the second time, this time Adam Schefter, who's extremely reputable, reports that he will be signing on to the Dolphins. Get the fuck out of here, cat. He will be signing on to the... I ain't fucking redoing this. Alright, I don't give a fuck. He will be signing on to the Dolphins after the Super Bowl. So, Vic Fangio currently works for the Eagles as a defensive consultant. Don't know what the fuck that means. Don't know how hands-on that is. It must be somewhat hands-on, because why else would they pay you to do it? But the one thing that I will say is that a lot of Dolphins fans like to shit on Stephen Ross. But Stephen Ross throws that fucking money around, man. He doesn't play games. He's not like some other teams that are scared to throw around that fucking cheddar. Stephen Ross pulls out his cock and starts banging it on the table when he wants a player. He'll tamper with you. He'll do whatever it takes. I like Stephen Ross, all right? I know I'm in the minority of Dolphins fans when I say that, but I like Stephen Ross, all right? He's no bullshit. He pulls out his money and he pays the money. Does he do some silly things sometimes? Sure, you know, but I don't give a fuck. At least he gives a fuck. All right, so many owners in the NFL don't give a fuck. They're just there to make the money and leave. Which I guess, I mean, that's what a business owner does. But Stephen Ross definitely wants to win, so I'll say that. But let's talk about the differences between Fangio and the Josh Boyer ran offense, because Josh Boyer was a part of the Brian Flores system, who ran a very New England Patriots style offense, lots and lots of blitzing. That was something that I enjoyed, especially in 2020, holy shit, they had the league by storm that year with the cover zero. And that's really a Patriot-style system. And Fangio is a complete opposite direction from that. He runs a lot of zone. Heavy zone, as it's called. Not nearly as much blitzing. Actually, his Denver defense was never higher than 13th in the NFL in blitzes. So don't expect a lot of cover zero, any more of just bailing out and trying to get the quarterback, which honestly I liked from time to time. It really helped us contain Josh Allen in that playoff game and get those turnovers that were needed. And it's worked out sometimes, but also there's a bunch of times where it doesn't work. So Fangio does run a lot of zone coverage, though. From what I read, he tries to bait teams into the run, and they change up post-snap and play a lot of cover 6 to cover 8. I'm not a huge into the fucking analytics guy. I just know what it means is there's going to be more zone coverage than blitzing. That's what I know. So what that means for me as a fan is I do know that the Dolphins were 32nd in high safety shell, 2 high safety shell last year. And Fangio is a leader in doing that. So, this 2 defenses are going to be complete opposites. And with these young cornerbacks that they may have to use again, with Byron Jones not coming back, and if anyone goes down, because I know they have Howard, Nick Needham, and then who else? Then we're down to our rookies again, unless they pick up some new corners. And also the linebacker core has struggled quite a bit. I'd say our strength is our D-line, so this could be a good thing. Also, it could be a bad thing. I'd say a lack of pressure could be a concern, because that pressure really does bail out those corners sometimes. If you look, those rookie corners, Keon Crossing and Kodu, a lot of times they don't turn around when the ball's in the air. They just kind of run at the receiver. Causes a lot of pass interference penalties, and it also causes them to get mossed quite a bit. Xavier Howard is still the best corner on this football team. Don't be fooled in any way. Nick Needham is a close second. The positive, I would say, is hopefully this could aid in the end of good quarterbacks absolutely carving this team up. Just to give some examples, the Bills in 2020, 2021, and 2022 sometimes, they just carved up the Miami Dolphins every time they played. Even Detroit carved us up this year, especially in that first half. Was quite concerning. Tom Brady in Tampa in 21 absolutely carved the shit out of the Dolphins. San Fran with Brock Purdy. The Dolphins couldn't fucking stop them. And KC in 2020, the only time we played Kansas City with Mahomes. They carved us up, even though Miami had 4 interceptions that game, I believe. Kansas City still fucking carved and got a shit ton of points quickly. Chicago and Baltimore last year had their way with this defense. So those are some concerns, or some of the positives, I would say, is hopefully the superstar offenses can be slowed down, because it felt like when the Dolphins played against bad teams, it was really hard for them to get going against the Dolphins. For example, the Joe Flacco-led Jets. They just couldn't find their way behind the Dolphins. And, the Dolphins, I felt like, made the best of a really tough situation last year. So it almost surprises me a little bit that Josh Boyer was fired, because, I'm not a biggest fan of Josh Boyer. I think he had some really dumb play calls. Everyone wants to go back to that 3rd down and long against LA. But we do have to recognize that there was some good out of that. He really was masking a lot of issues on this team that for Fangio to come in and work, I believe those issues need to be addressed in the offseason, specifically linebacker and cornerbacks. They need more people that could cover receivers, because they're going to lose Byron Jones. And I love Cadeau and Crossan. They're okay, but they're backups. They are backups. They're not people that I would have a lot of comfort with starting on a regular basis. So, but it is exciting. It is exciting. I am the kind of fan where I just have blind faith, man. It's not my job to figure out what's going to work and what isn't going to work. It's just my job to enjoy the ride. So that's what I'm going to do. Just wanted to hop on here real quick and give my piece on the Vic Fangio hiring. I got to go because I got to get to boxing. The baby's fucking crying. I can't leave him crying any longer. So thanks for joining me, and go fuck yourselves.